Good morning, good morning. Claricia Myers here on this Thursday morning.
Good morning. I'm Roland.
My better half. We are here tuning in from Richmond, Virginia. I would be outside walking, but it's 28 degrees, number one. And number 2, it's cold. Roland doesn't do well with the cold, so
Nope.
no, he would not get up. And then yesterday, somehow the I don't know, the reception, it was coming in and out, low connection, and then it was. So I thought I will do it in here today.
Yeah.
And before I go, good morning, Cousin Jay from Chicago. Good morning to you. Today's extra special too. It's somebody's birthday. Today's Roland's birthday. Happy birthday.
Well, thank you.
We're going
Thank
to
you.
celebrate a little bit later on. Anyway, today I titled today's little talk a message. Good morning, Sipo. Good morning. I titled it Knockouts and Comebacks. Driven. Now, that really is telling my story. And hopefully maybe tomorrow Roland will tell his. But I titled it Knockouts and Comebacks Driven because there has been a series of events that happened in my life that put me on this path. And so I thought I will share why I am so driven and why I am determined to be able to achieve the goals that I have set, we have set for ourselves. And I'm going to start off with this quote from Les Brown. And it's, when life knocks you down, try to land on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up. Okay? And then let your reason get you back up. So when I read that, I thought about my story and the journey that I've been on. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the loves. Thank you for the likes.
Yes,
Do me a favor. Share this out because, maybe something in my experience might resonate with you. Maybe you've experienced something similar. And, we need to share our stories. So, some years ago, starting in 2013, I guess that's about 6 years ago,
Something like that.
my family, my nucleus, my parents and my siblings, we were very close. We were from the Virgin Islands. And my parents moved away, and they made Kansas City, Kansas, their home. And they would always come and visit us from time to time. And so it would just be one happy family. But in 2013, my dad suffered a massive stroke, which, was a blow. That's a punch, knock.
Pile number one.
Yeah, and so we went down to see him. Of course, the stroke was massive, and he did not survive the stroke. So he passed away. And there was a major rift that occurred within our family unit simply because my dad and my mom had failed to do some things that they needed to do. And I say this to everyone out there. If you have aging parents, make sure they've taken care of business. Yes, they had insurance and they had all that other stuff, but they neglected to create or make a living will. This way, there will be no dispute as to what to do. Even though they verbally expressed their wishes, there was disagreement within the family, and my dad's wishes were not carried out. So that was another blow, not being able to honor him the way he wanted to be honored. So fast forward now, because we couldn't get together talking about the family, it caused a rift and no communication, not for lack of trying, but there was no communication. Then 2016, we wanted to now get guardianship of my mom because we had not seen her in 3 years. We didn't know about her well-being. There was no communication. Again, not because we weren't trying. So that was a big blow to us, part of the family.
Well, blow number 3, I believe. Yeah.
Blow number 3, yeah. So we were trying to go through litigation to get guardianship. And the judge determined that she would be placed in the custody of, what do you call it, public administrators, where they'll make decisions for her care and all that.
Because of her frail health.
Because her health was just so frail. And so that was a blow, because, I was trying to bring her to live with me, and that didn't work. And about 2 weeks after she'd been placed in a hospice situation, we learned that, we were told that she passed away. And I knew, because we had a discussion about what her wishes were. She wanted to be taken home to our home, St. Thomas, the Virgin Islands, and be laid to rest there. But here again, we were not successful in being able to do the things that we knew she wanted. And there again, the rift that had already been there just seemed to have gotten even wider. So that was another punch. And during that time, with litigation, going to court and all that, Roland, summer of 2016, he had suffered his first stroke. And I think what brought that on was the amount of stress, the heat of the day. We were renting a house, and the owners of the house were military. They came back, and they notified the realtor company that they wanted to move back in. The realtor company neglected to inform us and called us up wanting to know if we could move out of the house in 2 weeks.
4-bedroom house.
Yeah, a 4-bedroom house,
Middle of a work week.
And it was during testing, these testing situations in the school system was ongoing. Roland and myself, being teachers, to start packing up your house, that was just not going to work. But we're not, quote, I don't want to say that word. We're not difficult people. We didn't want to make life difficult for the owners. We put ourselves in their shoes, and we wanted to make the transition easy for them. So we set out on trying to do all that while testing and all that other stuff. And so we found a place, and we moved. We were packing up to move. Got everything moved up, but it was June, the last day of school. It was hot, so we were packing up our classrooms and then packing up our house. And with Roland having health challenges, diabetes, and being in the hot sun and sweating, and we didn't know that he was setting himself up for some major challenges.
Yeah, if I could do things differently, I definitely would.
So that's where he had his first stroke. And I didn't even know he was having the stroke. He was on the way to where we were staying. He was swerving all over the road. And, I said, Roland, this is not funny. Stop doing that. And he didn't know I didn't know he was having the stroke. He didn't know he was having the stroke. And cars were going by and honking their horns. And I said, Roland, stop. Just stop the car. Let me drive. So he pulled over. And, it's only by the grace of God that we didn't get into a wreck or something. But yeah,
that was mercy.
Yes, that was God's grace and his mercy. So I took over. I drove the car. And when we got to where we were going to stay before moving into our other house, he got out the car, had some things in his hands, but he was walking off in the distance. I was like, Roland, what are you doing? And when he turned around and looked at me, his face was twisted. And I knew this was a medical emergency. All right, so that's when he had his first stroke.
All I knew was I was tired.
Yeah.
I could lay down anywhere and go to sleep.
I don't know if we're keeping track of these punches. So that was another punch,
Yeah.
So we were just so grateful that stroke, though it didn't affect anything major that we could detect. And so we went on. He used the summer to try to recuperate. We weren't sure about the new school year, how things were going to go. So he did go back to work. He did go back to work September. And then October, now switching back, we had litigation going to court down out of state in the Kansas City area, Missouri at the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's when the judge determined my mom will be placed in a hospice situation. Well, not too long after that, that's when Roland had the second stroke. while he was,
I just can't.
yeah, had a second stroke. So that was another blow. But this time, I knew he was having it because then he wasn't recognizing me. He was talking in a conversation, and the conversation, he was not responding to the questions, or he wasn't giving the appropriate responses. So, I said, you know what, let me just take him to the hospital and find out what's going on. By the time I can get there, they asked for his ID. All he was saying, okay. It was not registering. Whatever was saying, I'm telling your story. Let you tell your story tomorrow. Let me just go on with mine. So after all of that, he was in the hospital. I had to leave him in the hospital and fly back to Missouri for a continuation of the court case. And 2016 was just a really bad year for us. And about 2 weeks later, after my mom had been in that hospice environment and facility, we got a call saying that she passed away. And so I was just distraught because all of my efforts failed. All my efforts failed. And in my mind, I was thinking, oh, she's so disappointed with me. And see, I'm practicing being able to tell my story without getting emotional. But, reliving it, it was very difficult. Very difficult. Mm-hmm. And so that was in 2016, causing even a greater rift within the family. So, I was out 12 weeks for family medical leave to be able to help Roland. And, because he needed me more than my students needed me. And so I was out 12 weeks, and I knew I had to go back, having anxiety and, for leaving him, because at that time, his memory was just so bad, he wouldn't remember to take his medication. And,
It was a lot of them.
And so I went back to work, and my first day back, you kind of anticipate, well, what the kids are going to be excited to see you. You're probably going to get a lot of, well wishes from your colleagues. But I think what blew me away was when my administrator said, Ms. Myers, I need you to give me 2 dates. I need to come and do an observation. And so that was the furthest thing from my mind. You have to come back in the classroom and get reacclimated, find out where the students were, all of that stuff. And it just kind of threw me for a loop because there was no greeting, no hello, how are you? We learned your mom passed away, how's your husband? There was none of that. And so I felt,
business.
As leaders, we need to have empathy. It's really important to empathize with your workers,
And, we're not talking about strangers here. I mean, these are people that you work for years.
Yeah.
So, not strangers.
That really took me back. And then a couple weeks later, then I was approached with, Ms. Myers, when you're here, I need you here. Because even though I had come back to work, I was still on partial family medical leave because he had all these tests and, appointments with different specialists. And so I had to be gone.
Yeah, per doctor's instructions, I couldn't drive.
Right. And plus, I needed to be there to be able to communicate from one doctor to the next as to how he was performing at home in regards to different things. Anyway, so that really, when I was asked to, when I'm here, I need you here, it was as if I need to turn off a switch and not think about him, his well-being, and how he's getting on at home. That really, it brought it very clear to me what I needed to do. He needed me more than my students needed me. And at that time, I had been teaching for 35 years. And this was my 30th year in that particular school system. And so I had the time and the credits to be able to retire. So that's what I did. I did that. And I thought, okay. So I thought, okay, you know what? I can use some of the gifts that God has blessed me with. I love to write, and so I've been able to go ahead and write my first book. It's a children's book. And it hasn't been released yet. I didn't realize it was such a lengthy process, but it should be. I think it's like maybe 45% complete. I think they're about. In terms of what they need to do, I've done what I needed to do. So I got to wait on them. So yes, I've been able to write, and I came across a wonderful lady named Layla Black. She had something that I knew I needed, because I didn't know I was camera shy. I didn't know that I thought it was every time I open my mouth I'm going to trip up and I'm going to forget what I'm saying. And so long story short, she had a 21-day video challenge, and I took advantage of that. See, opportunities come around, things that you need right when you need it, it shows up. So I took that course, and some of you may have been on that journey with me, saw when I started, and from that I met a wonderful lady who's one of my mentors, Sensei Sabira Falami. I worked with her, and she's still working with me, and she put me in touch with now a 7-figure earner. Her name is Diane Hockman. We had a session last night. I sent out some invitations for some people. Some of you were able to join. Wonderful. I'm glad you were able to get on. If you were able to get on, it's going to have a replay coming up sometime real soon. Mm-hmm. Yes. Anyway, long story. My husband is telling me to wrap it up. So anyway, if you have a desire to be able to provide for your family, to do what you feel within your heart that you were destined to do, but because of fear or something that's holding you back, we need to get over our fears. And one of my fears was being in front of the camera. I was able to get over that. Look, I do this every day now. And we are being able to work from home. I'm still here with Roland, still working through some things, but you can do the same. Or, think about the economy right now, what's going on in the government. Some people are laid off, and who knows for how long. There needs to be a way that you can still take care of your family, meet your obligations, and this is one way. This is just one way. So in the description, I do have a link, the class that is being offered, the course, Execution Revolution. The doors closed at midnight last night, so I'm sorry you can't get into that course for this year. It may come around maybe in another year or two. But the link that I do have is for Attraction Marketing Intensive. So it's kind of like a condensed course where you can get some of the information so that you can apply it, execute it, and make an impact in your own life, in the life of your family. And yes, I was trying to do this real short, but I think I went on a little bit longer than I normally do. Good morning. I didn't even get to greet anyone, Roland.
Yeah, I think George Thornton was on.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Good morning, Chriselle. Good morning to you. Good morning, Sharita. Those are my 2 daughters, 2 of my 3 daughters.
And I like to say the thing that really helped us is, having a very strong relationship, because that's what you need. And also surrounding yourself with positive people that can help you to reach those goals. And, you have to be determined. Yes. And that's one thing I like about you. You're very determined. And boy, is she determined. And to, get off your back, if you've been knocked down, to get back up. And with new determination to, to reach your goals.
And I'll tell you one other thing, because this wasn't just me. I believe the divine had a hand in putting certain people into my life, because when you're stressed, when you're suffering anxiety, when the bottom feels like it has fallen out and you're free falling and you can't find who you are, God provides who you need when you need it. And so that's why we're on this journey.
It is a spiritual thing.
It is spiritual. Oh, I was supposed to be addressing spiritual entrepreneurs. People, we're talking to those of you who refuse to just settle, who refuse to just accept things as they are, who want to make a difference in their own life, in the lives of their family, in the lives of their friends, and their community. So that's who I'm speaking to. If you have that burning desire to do more, to be more, to impact more, I'm speaking to you. So take advantage of the link that's there. You can just check it out, because it is a course that you can learn some of the things. Of course, you won't be working directly with Diane Hockman. You won't be working directly with her, but the opportunity may arise again sometime in the future. So that's what we have for you this morning. I think I've neglected to say good morning, Brock. Good morning to you. It's been a while. Good morning, Christopher. Good morning, Kate. Is that Carlin? Good morning, Carlin. Dr. Thornton, good morning. Glad that you can join us this morning. So we if anything Roland or I have said resonates or and share this out. Bottom line, share this out.
And I want to encourage you, if you find yourself down and things not going your way, don't give up. Okay, don't give up. Fight on.
That's right. Things don't happen all at once. All of the events, and I feel have happened in my life, leading me to this point. Of course, I didn't know at the time, but God sees all, knows all, and He makes a way. We can make a way. You can make a way. You can make the difference.
That's right.
So that's all we have for you today. Roland.
And thank you all for the birthday wishes. 60 is the number.
That's right. That's right. And I'm just 2 years behind him, so I'm going to catch up with him.
Bonafide senior citizen.
Thank you for joining us. Enjoy your day and take advantage of opportunities. They are around you all the time. And that class, by the way, that link, it's free,
And there's a storm watch. So those of you that are in the path of very bad weather, snow and rain, please be careful, because we want to see you again.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the love and the hearts and the likes. And we will see you tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock.
Be safe.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.